Chapter 16. The preparations of the heart are man's, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Commit your works unto the Lord, and your thoughts shall be established. The Lord hath made everything for his own purpose, yes, even the wicked for the day of evil. Every one that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. My hand upon it, he shall not be unpunished. By mercy and truth iniquity is expiated, and by the fear of the Lord men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues with injustice. A man's heart devises his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth trespasseth not in judgment. A just balance and scales are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaks right. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold? Yes, to get understanding is rather than to be chosen than silver. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keeps his way preserves his soul. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better is it to be of a lowly spirit with the humble, than to divide the spoil with the proud. He that gives heed unto the word shall find good, and whoso trusteth in the Lord, happy is he. The wise in heart is called a man of discernment, and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning. Understanding is a fountain of life unto him that has it, but folly is the chastisement of fools. The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips. Pleasant words are as a honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and health to the bones. There is a way which seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. The hunger of the laboring man laboureth for him, for his mouth compels him. An ungodly man digs up evil, and in his lips there is a burning fire. A froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separates familiar friends. A man of violence entices his neighbor, and leads him into a way that is not good. He that shuts his eyes, it is to devise froward things. He that bites his lips brings evil to pass. The hoary head is a crown of glory. It is found in the way of righteousness. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that rules his spirit than he that takes a city. The lost is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. Continuing in these Proverbs, continuing these little sayings, these old sayings, these little subtle teachings we can carry around with us. We can get a little understanding from it when we need it, and we can get a little understanding when others are getting it. That's the purpose of it, to give you a few lessons in life, give you something to think about. We're going to pick it up in verse 1. The preparations of the heart are man's, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. The preparations of the heart, that which a man gets ready to receive and he expects in his heart, that's what belongs to him. But the answer is in the tongue from the Lord. The answer comes from what we see from the Lord. That which goes on, and sometimes we just don't get the job done quite. We got to work a little harder towards what we truly want and what we really want in life. And that's going to be happiness and the goodness that we all desire, too. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit. The ways of man are clean in his own. Oh, yeah, we're all geniuses in our own mind. We all think we have the right answer and that others should be like us. And, that maybe they should, but maybe they shouldn't, because the Lord weighs the spirits. The Lord knows the true intent of one's ways, whether it's to do good or whether he's trying to do evil. 3, commit your works unto the Lord, and your thoughts shall be established. Commit your works unto the Lord. Commit everything you do to him. We'll find out your thoughts are established, because everything you do is going to be in accordance with the way the Lord asks you to do it. 4, the Lord hath made everything for his own purpose, yes, even the wicked for the day of evil. The Lord's made everything. It says things here. It's everything, all things. We could put it that way, for his own purpose. Yes, even the wicked, for the day of evil. Even that understanding of evil that we can all witness. The wicked are just those who transgress the ordinances and statutes of the Lord. It's not a hard thing to figure out. It's the definition of it. 5, everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. My hand upon it, he shall not be unpunished. Everyone that is proud in heart, he's an abomination to the Lord. The Lord don't want you to be like that. All these that are proud, that are inner understandings, and what they do is they try to use this to exalt over people, and not to share. If you got a little understanding, you're holding it over somebody's head. That would be a wrong thing to do. My hand upon it, if I got anything to do with it, in other words, he should not be unpunished. And we'll find out he's not going unpunished. The Lord's got him in his punishment. 6, by mercy and truth iniquity is expiated, and by the fear of the Lord men depart from evil. By mercy and truth. That's how it's done. Mercy and truth. We get the mercy when we get the truth. Iniquity is expiated. It's on its way out. It's hurried up, actually. Perverseness is driven out. And by the fear of the Lord, that's the reverence of, or to recognize that the Lord exists. Hashem, that presence of God in the law which he give us. That's how men depart from evil. If you want out, that's the way you have to go. 7, when a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. When a man's ways are right before the Lord, when he's walking with the Lord, when he's correct, when he's aligned, he maketh even his enemies at peace with him. Even they ain't got no trouble with him. Well, he don't cause them trouble. We'll find out it's the other way around anyway. 8, better is a little with righteousness than great revenues with injustice. It's better to have just a little and walk in the right path and be correct in life and do the right thing than it is to have all the money in the world and be an evil, wicked person. 9, a man's heart devises his way, but the Lord directs his steps. A man's heart does devise his way. He's the one that's figuring out the way he wants to go, which didn't choose the wrong way, did you? But the Lord, see, he's directing his steps, because if you did, believe me, the Lord's going to bring you around, because that's your circle. Your path don't go nowhere. It's just going to come around here, right where you're at now. And the Lord's going to say to you, you should have turned and went that way. 10, a divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth trespasseth not in judgment. A divine sentence. This divine sentence is, it's going to be a just judgment. A judgment, just. The word is ketsem, and it's a divination, a decision. It can even be thought of as a form of witchcraft. But the practice of it, because judgments always belong to the Lord, and if a judgment is aligned, or it should be the Lord's judgment, whatever the Lord said. I mean, the king was commanded to make a copy of the law and keep it beside him, because when he needs to know what to do, in decisions of sentencing, it's already wrote down. His mouth trespasses not judgment. He don't go against what the Lord said. 11. The just balance and scales are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. A just balance and scales are the Lord's. The decision belongs to God. The decision belongs to Hashem. That's his presence. And all the weights of the bag are his work. Everything in it. What's the decision of justice? What is righteousness? What is justice? We're going to find out the law of God, or the law of the Lord, the law of Hashem, the presence that we get that gives us that law. Decided it from the beginning. It's his work. 12. Now, it's abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. It's an abomination to kings to commit wickedness. You can say it's against the law. For the throne is established by righteousness. The throne was established by justice. Not by justice, but for the purpose of, and we'll find that the throne was established by the Lord. The Lord said, I give you a king in my anger. 13. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaks right. Righteous lips, correct. That's correct. That's just lips. They are the delight of kings. They would be the delight of a just king, but not that of a wicked king. They love him that speaks right. They love the one who has correct information, because we'll find out the word's for everybody. It wasn't just for the king. It wasn't just for the priest. Everybody heard it when the Lord spoke. 14. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. Now the wrath of a king is like the messengers of death, because that's when the king gets mad. That's what he does. He sends some people out to kill you. But we'll find out. A wise man will pacify it. A wise man turns him back. 15. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. In the light of the king's countenance is life. The understanding of the king's countenance, this countenance should be that of the Lord. That countenance, that even that representation, we all should have that. And that's the light, or that's the understanding we should get, or this enlightenment, this what gives us some understanding. Because that's the way of life. And it's his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. His favor, or this one who makes himself acceptable, is like the confusion before this latter rain, before we actually receive understanding. How much better, 16, how much better is it to get wisdom than gold? Yes, to get understanding is rather to be chosen than silver. How much better is it to get some wisdom than gold? I'd rather have a little wisdom myself and be able to use some understanding and knowledge than to get some gold, because you can have all the gold you want in the world. But if you don't know what to do with it, you just go blow it. You just go blow it. Most likely spend it before you get it, yes. It's better to get some understanding rather than the chosen than silver. If you got a little bit of understanding, if you choose to get some knowledge first, get a little wisdom. Learn how to manage your business. That's going to be better for you than all that silver in the world, all the money in the world, because we'll find out, my friend. It can't buy you knowledge. It can't buy you understanding. 17. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keeps his way preserves his soul. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. That's a highway. That's a wide path, a good way out, and it would be nice if more people would use it, because it's the way out. And that's going to be the ordinances, statutes of the law, the way they make. And this one that keeps his way preserves his soul. The one that stays in it, he's going to preserve his soul. He's going to cause it to live. 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. But pride goes before destruction. You want to see some trouble? Just look for this guy. And a haughty spirit just before the fall. See, because that's what a haughty spirit, this one who's raised up, he's exalted himself. He's the chief. you just climbed up a mountain, and that's why you went up there. The Lord's going to throw you to the bottom. 19. Better is it to be of a lowly spirit with the humble than to divide the spoil with the proud. It's better to be of a lowly spirit with the humble and just take what the good Lord give you and keep that understanding close by than to divide the spoil with the proud, because we'll find out they got took to the top just to see what they would do so they could be thrown to the bottom. What goes up comes down. It's an old rule. It's an old law. 20. He that gives heed unto the word shall find good. Whoso trusteth in the Lord, happy is he. The one that gives heed to the word shall find good. The one that listens. It's the same old thing. You got to listen, my friend, to the word. You got to hear what the Lord said and know what he said. Because the one who trusts in it, the one that puts his faith in that and holds sure, happy is he. He will open his eyes to the expectation of his heart. 21. The wise in heart is called a man of discernment, and the sweetness of lips increases learning. The wise in heart, these ones, that's what they want to do. Their understandings, they gather them so they can do the right thing, to do good. He's called a man of discernment. He's called a man that knows how to make the right decisions. We'll find out. He's probably got a little wisdom about him, and that's going to be his understanding that the Lord gave him. And the sweetness of the lips increases learning. Because when you get some wisdom, when you get some knowledge, that's the sweetness. And it's going to increase your understanding. 22. Understanding is a fountain of life unto him that has it, but folly is the chastisement of fools. Understanding is a fountain of life. That's pretty simple. We can all drink from that, from knowledge, wisdom, understanding. The Lord give it to us. And it's unto him that has it, this one who keeps it, stays by it, this understanding that the Lord give you. We get it through his presence, and it tells us what's right, and it tells us what's wrong. But folly is the chastisement of fools. That's for them. That's the fool's going to make it. He's still trying to learn. He ain't figured out that you shouldn't be doing that. 23. The heart of the wise teaches his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips. The heart of the wise teaches his mouth. This heart, that understanding within, that the fiber of our life, he speaks. It's like speaking from the heart, speaking from that experience. It teaches his mouth. It tells him what to say, and adds learning to his lips. And this word, he hears it, he speaks it, he understands what he's saying. It just adds learning to what he does. 24. Pleasant words are as a honeycomb, sweet to the soul, health to the bones. That's what pleasant words are. They're just like a honeycomb. Some people like honeycomb, some people don't. It's sweet to the soul. You can chew on it, and the sweetness of it just keeps lasting and lasting. And we get that same thing from good words that go in and make us feel better. They're like health to the bones, or the restorativeness, that which restores our essence to the beginning where we felt good. 25. There is a way which seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Again, there's a way that seems right to a man. That's his own. But the end thereof are the ways of death. But the end thereof, my friend, are the ways of death. Unless you have aligned yourself with the ways of the Lord, then the end of it there, we find, is life. 26. The hunger of the laboring man labors for him, for his mouth compels him. The hunger of a laboring man labors for him. That's how he gets what he wants, by that which he does. And he knows that. So he does that to get what he wants. And that's his mouth compelling him, because he knows this is that which, how I receive it, by my work. so I continue to get what I want. 27. An ungodly man digs up evil, and in his lips there is as burning fire. An ungodly man digs up evil. An ungodly man is somebody that don't want to do what's right. He don't care about all that crap. He don't need it. He just digging up trouble. Got no one to help him in his way, to correct him. He's sometimes I refer to him as know-it-alls. And really, sometimes there's just nothing you can do for him. You just got to let him go. His lips are there as a burning fire. But I wouldn't take no advice from him. A man that can't take advice shouldn't give advice. 28. A froward man sows strife, and a whisper separates familiar friends. A froward man sows strife. A froward man is a perverse man, a man out of the way. What way? The Lord's way. He's got out of it. He's gone aside, and he's out just causing trouble. A whisper separates familiar friend. That's a talebearer. That's somebody who goes around whispering secrets. You know what they said about you. You know what he caught? And this starts trouble, even between familiar friends, these that know each other the best. 29. A man of violence entices his neighbor, leads him into a way that is not good. A man of violence, troublemaker. He entices his neighbor. He tries to lead him out where he can take advantage of him, get one up on him sometimes. 30. He that shuts his eyes, it is to devise froward things. He that bites his lips brings evil to pass. He that shuts his eyes, that's a guy, don't act like I didn't see nothing. He devises froward things. Sometimes he thinks he knows what's right. Sometimes he thinks he knows what's best. This one that bites his lips brings evil to pass. He holds his mouth back. He didn't say nothing. He don't say nothing. But he knows the evil that's being done. He lets it go, condones it. 31. The hoary head is a crown of glory. It is found in the way of righteousness. The hoary head is a crown of glory. And in times past, this was looked at as somebody who's lived to a ripe old age. They must have knew how to live right, because they've made it twice as old as most people. Sometimes, and this was looked as one who had found in the way of righteousness. He had lived right. He had lived correctly. And that's that understanding we get. The hoary head, that head of white, pure white glory. That's what the hair was a representation of. And this is that crown which goes around. We're going to find that it's a representation of knowledge and wisdom that comes through a great amount of experience. 32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that rules his spirit than he that takes a city. The one that's slow to anger is better than the mighty, because they're just going to be charged, and here comes the mistakes. And the one that rules his spirit, if you can rule yourself, if you can keep yourself under control, you'll be doing more than most great leaders can do. 33. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord. Yeah, the lot is cast into the lap. Let's see what you can do with it. But in the end, the Lord will have the final say. And that's just the way it is. Because it testifies for us, friend. It speaks loud. And in the end of our days, who can hide it? Who can say it ain't the truth? We're going to move forward. Proverbs 17. Turn and return.